We're live. Hey, everyone. Oh, we're so excited to be here with you today. I'm Stephanie Hess, business coach and mentor to coaches and creators and solopreneurs. Meg.
Hi, I'm Meg Sylvia. I am brand strategist to the same people. And we have come together today to combine our brand and marketing and strategic background to put together this training for you.
Yes. And we're just going to dive in, and I want to give you just kind of the context for what you're going to hear from us today. And first and foremost, you might be thinking just by the title alone, like eye roll, oh my gosh, I've seen this before. They're going to try and tell me how to build my business and get it to six figures. I have read so many things. I've studied this. I've worked with people to do this. Maybe it hasn't worked for you. We totally get that. And so we just really invite you to come on this journey with us today for the next like 25, 30 minutes. We promise you that we are going to give you our unique perspective of all of the things that really, that are so trendy and out there in our faces, like you should do this to get to six figures, or you should do that. And we just want to honestly share with you what we've done to crack that code for our own businesses, because it can be such a challenging and frustrating ride. So our intention is that you will get one nugget even or insight that could dramatically shift the way that you are able to build and grow your business right now. So with that, what this format will look like is we are going to go back and forth with a few questions that we so commonly hear from our clients and our communities, and just kind of dispel and bust any myths around these common things. So with that, let's dive into some questions, Meg, and we're gonna put you on the hot seat first. So I'm curious to get your perspective on this. What is one thing other branding experts say that drives you totally nuts?
So probably the top thing that drives me crazy. And I used to believe the same way because I started my career as a graphic designer. So the biggest thing, I think, misconception that comes from experts, but also is just like a general way of thinking, is that branding is visual. That branding is about creating this beautiful logo and this beautiful website, because most branding people out there are really focused on design work. So again, I started there too. And I love beautiful branding. I love beautiful visuals. However, the problem is that a lot of people create a business or try to get to the next level of business with visuals alone. So, they spend a bunch of money on this brand new website, creating the color schemes, all the fun stuff. And then you put it out there and it feels like, oh, this is exactly what I envisioned my brand would look and feel like. But yet the foundational pieces of what any of that even means is missing. So when you are trying to get your business to six figures, or even just to grow in general, I think that it's really important to realize that at most stages of business, and it pains me to even say it again because I love visual design, you don't need the fancy visual branding. Because without having a super clear picture on, well, who am I even talking to? How do they want to be spoken to? How do I convey to them that I understand what I'm looking for? Especially in the world of coaching or, being a service provider where you really are giving your expertise. People don't really care what your logo looks like. People care, can this person solve my problem? So I think for me, that is the thing that makes me most crazy, seeing so many people out there, especially in this online business brand coaching area, where the focus is just totally off.
Yes. Oh my gosh, you're speaking to my heart, sister. I remember the days when I spent analyzing my logo, like trying to get
Oh
my
my
logo perfect.
Yeah.
And all I was doing, like I think I was telling myself that I was doing the stuff I needed to do. In hindsight, I was distracting myself from doing the stuff that really mattered and getting
Exactly.
out there and serving my clients. So I
Yeah. And
love that you
I
said
think probably every one of us here has been through that. Like,
that.
I can't tell you how many hours I used to spend
Yeah.
just trying to pick the right color scheme.
Mhm.
So it's totally common, totally normal for sure. So that's great. Steph, I've got one for you now. So let's see. My question to you, and it's something that I've definitely struggled with as well because I've done a lot of advertising for my businesses. And you see so much, so many experts today saying that, hey, you really need to run ads if you want to scale, whether it's to six figures, multiple six figures, whatever. So my question is, to grow a business to six figures, do you really need this massive ad budget, or is there really a way these days with the amount of noise out there that you can do this organically?
I love this question. So the answer is yes. And there are many layers to this. So, and for the record, I just want to say I am a huge proponent of using paid ads to amplify your marketing efforts. It's really hard to, it's not impossible, but it's hard. And I prefer, I know you do too, we prefer to allow our business to be easy, contrary to how many of us grow up seeing or looking at work, right? It's
Yes.
difficult to organically build your brand and reach new people efficiently without using advertising in some way. That said, I want to show people how to avoid spending thousands in Facebook ads like I have, like you have, before you have an organic funnel or pathway for attracting and converting leads that is in place and working for you. This is huge. And I was really forced to figure this out for myself after my ads account it got shut down. And it was such a huge blessing because I now have a system for bringing me two to four, I would say, qualified leads per week, and I'm not paying a dime for them. And this is the process that I teach my clients and what we're teaching in our infusion program. And so earning six figures in your business as a coach, a solopreneur, a service provider, this looks like 8,000 per month consistently. So you're making 8K on average per month, you're at the six-figure mark, right? And for many coaches and service providers, this can look like anywhere from 1 to 4 clients per month. Now, before you check out or tell yourself, yeah, right, this is for the lucky ones, not me, trust me, stay open because I too once had that mindset. And until I sorted that out, my bank account was going anywhere but up, right? I would lie awake at night thinking and just having this knot in my stomach because I knew I wasn't contributing and helping people to the degree that I knew I could. So here's what I want you to know. First and foremost, if you solve a major health, life, or business problem, and one of my mentors really helped me get this piece, this is a premium problem you're solving. Don't be a premium problem solver making minimum wage. And this might be uncomfortable to hear, especially in a time like now. But I invite you to just stay curious and stick with us. This right here is why only 10% of coaches ever make it to that six-figure mark. And this is rooted heavily in the way that you see your value and the outcomes that you create for your clients and what you believe is really possible. And if this part feels extra confronting or triggery to you, that is your biggest sign that this is part of the work that needs your attention and quickly, or you won't be able to solve your cash flow problem. So here's how I wanted to give explanation around this. Let's say you're a health coach and you help someone be able to manage their accumulated stress. We all know that stress accumulation over time, it's like shooting up inflammation in the body. Inflammation in the body can lead to chronic illness, things like cancer, autoimmune disorders, so many things that ultimately can shorten a person's longevity.
Mm-hmm.
The work that you're doing, let's say if you are this health coach, you are potentially adding 10 to 20 years to this person's life. You're giving them more time with their loved ones. You're enabling them to be there and be present, to walk their children down the aisle. This is a priceless problem that you are helping your clients solve. And this doesn't look like a $97 or even, $297 problem.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really, crucial in getting yourself to that 6-figure mark. And then of course, it's always coming back to, what is your 360 lead process? Are you attracting the right leads? Are you then able to nurture them powerfully and then inspire them to invest in themselves by working with you or your company? And it really doesn't stop there. We look at the things to do to help them get such powerful results that they stick with you for months or years even. Like the thought of them not having your continued support isn't even fathomable to them. Mm-hmm. So in a nutshell, that is how you organically get your business to the impact and income levels you desire and actually hit that 6-figure mark without ads.
I love that. So it's not just about the lead generation itself. It's also what is the actual structure of your offers? How are you positioning yourself to be able to charge high ticket? What is your continuation plan? That all makes sense.
Yeah.
Great.
Awesome. All right, Meg, I have one for you.
All right.
What do most people get wrong about branding?
So this is a good follow-up to the first question. So we already mentioned that branding is not really, at the end of the day, about the visuals. That the way I like to define branding is that it is essentially the way that any potential client perceives you. It's the way that you make them feel through all of these different aspects. So when it comes to, okay, what do most people do wrong here? Well, number one, focusing on the visuals is an issue. But number two, when you start to get down to creating or building your brand, what I find most coaches, entrepreneurs tend to do is first they think of how do they want this to be for themselves. So a lot of us come from, okay, I want it to show my personality. I want it to feel like me. I want it to be my favorite colors. And there definitely is a huge piece of your business, a huge piece of your brand that is about incorporating your unique spin, your unique way of doing things. Because yes, in a sea of other coaches, we need a way for you to stand out. Mm-hmm. And people are going to be attracted by your personality. But what needs to happen first and foremost is getting extreme clarity about what your message is. I believe that this is the most important part of your branding, because at the end of the day, the way that people are going to decide whether you're a fit for them is by consuming your content. Whether that is on social media, on Facebook, on Instagram, or on your website. If your content does not clearly convey why they should listen to you and why you are the best fit for them, well, how are, the colors and the personality doesn't even matter. So when it comes to creating a brand that really attracts high-end clients that come in ready to pay, clients that come in understanding your process and trusting you and trusting that you are in fact the person that can solve this problem for them. The first thing I would recommend taking a look at is, what is the big outcome that I'm getting for these people? And how can I convey that I understand, again, that I understand the pain they're going through, that I understand what they want to get out of this experience together, and that I am the person who most understands how to link where they are now to the outcome that they're looking for. So I know there can be, you know, and at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter what we call it. It doesn't matter if we call it branding or marketing strategy. It kind of all comes together, because when you do get to the level that you're making 6 figures, well, then we know that your message is probably pretty spot on. We know that you're having a easier time of attracting the right people. So at that point, that's when you can start to focus on becoming more recognizable. So building a website that really is customized, that really does further portray visually the message that you're trying to send. But honestly, to get to the 6-figure mark, you don't need any of that. You just need a very clear and concise way to tell the right people that you are the right person for them to solve their problem. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yes. Thank you for that. I think it's really interesting. Our clients are very heart-centered, right? They're mission-driven, purpose-connected, all that good stuff. And they just want to help. They want to usually help everyone like we initially did, right?
Mm-hmm.
The challenge with that when you're starting out, and I made this mistake totally, I wanted so badly to help, but yet I wasn't clear on my ideal client's pain, like you were saying. Like
Right.
you need to be so clear in what, like getting them over that bridge to their destination. What is that? And what is the pain of their situation right now? That is the foundation of your marketing and your storytelling, essentially.
Right. And that is one of those things too that I think, when you're so familiar with what it is that you do, I think a lot of us tend to get stuck in our own process. And we don't even realize that a person from the outside might not understand how all the things you're talking about are going to get them to their end goal. So I think that's one of the most important things that we do with clients, is helping them have that outside perspective of what it is really that they do and what those fears really are that their clients have and what they're really going through. Because it can be so hard when we're like so in the middle of our own business, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, that clarity is huge. So good.
Yeah. So next question for you. So I would like to know, when we talk about high ticket coaching, and you know, that is what we do. Like when we're working with people, we are helping them get to that high ticket level. One of the biggest things that we hear, that we see, a fear of coaches is that, well, transitioning from low ticket or like average hourly pricing to high ticket can feel really scary, because aren't we going to be excluding a lot of people who can't afford it? And are there even enough people who are actually willing to pay high ticket for whatever service it is that this coach might do?
Yeah, this is such a good question. And we both have such a heart for the people right now who are really struggling with this, especially in today's climate, and whether or not to discount your prices or to keep them the same, or how to navigate this. And here's the thing. If you are wondering if people have money and will they spend money on services like coaching, the answer is yes. For the right offer, for the right result, they will, and they are. They don't have a money problem. The challenge is really how you think about money. Money is not what you take from someone. It is transferred as an exchange of results. It's an exchange of energy. If there is a challenge you are currently facing and someone offered to help you out of that challenge for the right price, would you take it? Yes, you would. Anyone would. And that's really the same for your clients. Now, I had this epiphany the other day, and so, okay, how can I say this really quickly? I've been doing a lot of free workouts on Instagram. Like all of the sports clubs, the big names, they've been giving us free workouts. And I love that. So grateful for that. And before the pandemic came, I wanted so badly to commit to doing Physique 57, which is like this crazy hard bar situation workout. And I really wanted to try and commit to doing this. And I did for months before the pandemic. And I will tell you, the results were kind of insane. And so what occurred, what came up for me the other day is I caught my reflection in the turned off TV. And I noticed, and this is like, might be TMI, but my butt, it was starting to kind of look cute. Like it was getting something. And I caught my reflection and my butt had gone back to its original form. And I was like, how did that happen? Well, I had been doing these free workouts for the past 5 weeks. Again, so grateful to these people. But ultimately, I was telling myself that I was doing something, and I was just distracting myself from those harder workouts that were actually getting and creating the results that I wanted. And so I thought, this is such a parallel to the free courses and webinars and programs that we're consuming. How much of the time have they taken up shelf or taken up dust on your shelf? Mm-hmm. So this is really about, thinking about the outcomes that you are creating for your clients and standing in your power, knowing that the outcome that you can create for them if they were to go on this journey with you, it is priceless and it is life-changing. So this is really about making the decision to be a transformational service provider over the masses out there who are really just selling more information that isn't being used. And it's ultimately a disservice to the client anyway.
Right.
That's my answer for that.
That's good. And I feel you. I had the same experience after I stopped doing spin. So I feel the pain. Yeah. No, but I think that's really important I think the mindset around high ticket, if you're going to look into doing it, which I obviously would recommend, knowing that you're creating a transformation and how can you structure your offering in a way that creates a transformation rather than just giving more of that information. Mm-hmm. And if you're wondering like, well, how do I do that? I don't know if what I do really does create a transformation. Well, I think that might be a topic for another day, but I just want any coach or expert listening to know that no matter what it is that you do, there's always a way that we can kind of like tease that out and find that process that really does create that transformation so that you feel really confident around high ticket pricing.
Yeah. And to just wrap that up, it really comes down to like what you were saying earlier, stop spending hours of your time scrutinizing your logo. Just get out there and start doing the work that only you can do. That is going to build your confidence in your ability to take your clients farther, and everything will expand from that place. It's the best thing you can do for your business right now. Just start sharing your process, your gift with the people who need it.
Definitely.
Shall we move on?
Let's.
All right. So, Meg, I want to know from you, if you could have a chat with you who was just starting out in your business, what would be, with all that you know now, what would be the most simple and effective path to building a brand?
So this is a good question. I started my first online business when I was 16. And let's just say I have gone through all of these things that we're talking about. And I think with each business, I got more and more clear around the fact that I was playing business a lot. Like doing all the things that you think you're supposed to do to have a business. Like literally when I was 16 years old, I created this intense website and I thought the first thing I had to do is go and create a corporation. So I spent like $500 to open this business. And guess what, guys? Nobody came and bought my stuff. So I would say that
you had the LLC, but no one coming through the door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I had to learn that lesson more than once, which is really funny. But I would say if you're just starting out, or even if you're not just starting out, even if you have clients coming through the door and you're really looking to get to that next level where it's consistent and 6 figures, which is our topic, I would absolutely say that nothing matters until you have a client base. Like literally nothing matters. Yeah. If you are just starting, and like we recently put together kind of an outline that I can share later of what happens at each stage of business, because if you're just getting started, it doesn't, like, you don't even need a website. You barely even need a Facebook page. You just need to go out there and find families, friends, people that can give you feedback. If you want to start getting paid and take it away from the hobby phase, well, then it's important to start really honing in on who you want to be working with, on what type of work you do best, on who your favorite type of people to work with is. At that stage, I think all you really need is to start to generate some referrals and continue to hone in on what your process is. When you're at the point where you do have referrals coming in, and I think this is probably where most of our clients are, where they're dependent on referrals, they're trying all these different marketing strategies, and they just don't know how to create this flow of leads where they're in control.
Yeah.
Because if you're depending on referrals, it's likely that you can sustain like a full-time business that way, but it's never going to be enough to take you to 6 figures in most cases.
Right.
So what I would say is if you're at that stage, and this is where we can really start to develop what your brand is. And again, this goes back to first and foremost, the extraordinary clarity around what you offer, what outcome you create, who specifically you can help get there, and how you convey that in your content. This is where content marketing will start to make that difference. And when you combine that with a strategy for getting the content in front of more people, in other words, a lead generation strategy, that is when you can go from depending on referrals to having a system to depend on. So I know the original question was, okay, if you're just starting out, what would I do? But I wanted to kind of, show how things change as you do ascend that kind of, ladder of growing your business. But yeah, to wrap that up, I would say if you're just starting, literally nothing matters but getting those clients. Like, get some people in. I don't care if it's free. Do what you have to do to gather that experience. As you get to the point where this is starting to feel like this could be a full-time thing, that is when we can start to talk about branding.
So good. So good. If there is one thing you're doing right now to ensure you're able to create clients, it's do the thing that actually creates clients and nothing else. Just do that and you will be steps ahead of the game.
Yeah, because everyone else is spending their time worrying about perfecting the logo. Again, like that is what most people are doing, or whatever other activities essentially can distract from going out and getting the clients.
Yes. Yes. So, okay, we have a minute left. We have one question remaining, and we just want everyone to know, if you have been listening to us and something has resonated to you like deeply, and you're thinking, whoa, I would love to have a closer look at my brand with these 2 gals, we are going to give you that opportunity to do that. We have a few slots available for custom brand review breakthrough sessions with us. Like, you will sit down with Meg and I for a complete hour. And we are so happy to be able to offer that, especially in a time like now. We've had the great honor to talk to a half a dozen women at this point already who are just really eager to take their business to the next level. And that for us is the greatest joy, to support them in that journey. So, Meg, do you want to drop in the comments the link?
Absolutely.
Grab the link in the comments and just book a time with us. There's really nothing else you need to do aside from that. And with that, we will wrap it up with the last question.
Yes. So last question for you, Steph. Okay. All in all, why do most people never make it to 6 figures? Is it strategy? Is it really that they're missing more info or another tactic? Or is there something more? Is there something in their mindset that might be holding them back? What is it?
Yeah. This is nothing new or groundbreaking, but honestly, it is 80% mindset and 20% strategy. If you are listening to a coach or an expert give you a cookie cutter strategy and say, this is going to be the magic pill for you, oh, please, please challenge this or find someone else to help you, because we can give you a custom strategy for your business. However, if you energetically aren't there to implement the strategy, if you don't believe that the strategy will work for you, you are not going to get the result you want. And then you will be incredibly frustrated and thinking that you are bad at marketing or that you just don't have what it takes. And that is so not true. You need to have the right questions, and you need to understand, how to really attract the right people, how to nurture those people, and then how to inspire them to take that next step with you. And that isn't just strategy. It is a lot of believing that you can create the result and that you can create and attract amazing humans that are ready to show up and say yes to what you have. That is totally possible. But until you get to a place to really see that as possible for you and your business, the strategy doesn't even matter. And you'll continue to throw spaghetti at the wall and feel that you'll never make it. And that's just not true. You just need the right support.
I think that makes a lot of sense.
That's what I have to say about that.
Well, I know we're a little over time, so thank you everyone for being here with us. And Steph, I had fun.
Yeah.
I just posted the link in the comments for our calendar.
Cool.
These sessions are totally complimentary and it's a lot of fun. It is literally the best thing that you can do to get this type of clarity we're talking about for your business. No pressure. This is about really helping you get that path figured out and those blocks out of your way so that you can bridge that gap to where we all want to go with our businesses.
Yes. I love it. Meg, thank you for hanging out with me this afternoon. I adore you. And thanks, everybody. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to DM us.
All right, guys. Bye. See you next time.
Bye.